Good day, grade 9s. So this is the work we went through in class, and I've just put it on here again for you to see what we have done exactly. So the standard form of an equation is given here, y equal to ax plus q, where all the x values is represented in the x that we have in our equation over here, and all the y values from the graph is represented in the y over here in the equation. At some stage later next week, we will learn what A and Q entails exactly, but I think you'll figure it out as we go along as well. So basically the principle is that, and I'm going to go to the next page just now, I want you to read through this. So pause, read through all of this, and then I'm going to continue with the video. Okay. So, discussed the Cartesian plane, you would have heard me say that everywhere on your x-axis the y value is 0, and everywhere on your y-axis the x values are 0. Okay, so think of the following. If I go to this point here, we see, yes, x is 2. But what if I try to read the y value? I have to travel to the y-axis, and then where do I end up if I go to the y-axis? I end up at 0. Okay, so so the x-intercept means it's a value that is exactly on your x-axis, where the graph cuts through the x-axis or crosses the x-axis. So at that point, for example, the x-intercept, it would be over here at -2, but then we rather than write a coordinate such as -2, 0. Okay, I know that's not quite visible. And then for the y-axis, it is a point on the y-axis where the graph, this is our graph, straight line graph, cuts the y-axis or then crosses the y-axis at that point. And that would be the coordinate of, let me just get a purple pen here. All of a sudden it's a purple pen. Okay, I don't know where the purple pen is. I'm going to use blue. So this is 0, 3 for the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept and the x-intercept will have a coordinate, whereas the x value for the x-intercept is -2 indeed, and the y value is then 0. And then for the y-intercept, our x value is 0 and our y value is 3. So every time we have a y-intercept, the opposite one, x, is 0. And every time we have an x-intercept, the y value is 0. And with that knowledge, we use what we've read on the previous page to calculate or determine from an equation the x and the y-intercepts respectively. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. This example says, determine the x and y-intercepts of the line y equal to 3x minus 12. So, all you do is you say, that's very big. Ooh. So you go and you say the x-intercept. What do we know? The knowledge we have is that y is equal to 0. And therefore we substitute y with 0 in the equation over here. Okay, so y is now becoming 0 because we know that if I want the x value on the graph for this specific graph, where y is 0, I have to substitute y with 0. And then once you've done that, you only have one x value remaining, well, one variable remaining that you have to solve the equation for now. So our inverse operation to start isolating the term that contains x is we add 12, and what we do on the one side we do to the other side, and then we get 12 is equal to 3x. And so the last inverse operation, so as to isolate x in its entirety to get 1x, we say 12 divided by 3, and that gives you that 1x is equal to 4. So the x value at the x-intercept is 4, but the x-intercept is the coordinate for 0. We have to write that at the end. All right. And then for our y-intercept, let me just do this here, separate it. We get that x is 0. So, therefore, y in the equation, remember this equation, same equation, it's the same graph. Y would be equal to 3 times x's value is now 0 minus 12, and then therefore y is equal to negative 12. So the y value of the y-intercept is negative 12, but then we've got to write it as a coordinate. So it would be 0, negative 12. Okay, and then that's all there is to it. That's all they're basically asking of you. Okay, now you can try and do this example on your own. So pause and then go ahead, do the x and the y-intercepts, and then you can come back and see the solution that I've done. Okay, now on to sketching a straight line graph, which we also, the first method we're learning about here is the dual-intercept method. And dual just means two, so it involves the two intercepts, which would be your x and your y-intercepts. So this just like extends to the work that we've just discussed previously in the video. So the x-intercept, you determine it by making y equal to 0. And then you determine your y-intercept in whichever order, really it doesn't matter. For that, you would make x equal to 0. And so you plot the points of the two intercepts. That's the first step after that. So the points, then draw a line through the points, label each point, and label the straight line. So we're going to have a look at an example together just now. It says, sketch the straight line y equal to 2x plus 4 using the dual-intercept method. So we need to calculate the x and the y-intercept firstly so that we can plot those 2 points, as we said. So step 1, let's do the x-intercept. You don't have to label the steps or anything. So x-intercept, y is 0, and then therefore in the equation we change y to 0 or substitute y with 0. So 0 is equal to 2x plus 4. And then inverse operation would be to subtract 4 so that we can isolate x, and we do that to both sides then. And then negative 4 is 0 minus 4, and on the right hand side the plus 4 minus 4 eliminates and only 2x remains. So the x value there is negative 2. So that's the x value of your x coordinate. So the x-intercept is actually the point, I'm just going to write it here, sorry I don't have space there, negative 2, 0, because remember what we said is that the y value should be 0. Then for the y-intercept, x is 0, we know that much, and therefore in the equation y would be equal to 2 times 0 plus 4 if we substitute into the equation given over here into x. So then 2 times 0 is 0, and add 4 to that gives you 4. So y is equal to 4. The y value of the y-intercept is 4, and therefore the coordinate should be 0, because we said here x is 0, and then the y value, as we just mentioned, is 4. Okay, and that's all there is to it. So on the next page I can write, I've got the 2 points. The other point would be the x-intercept. Now I forgot because they made an announcement. So it was at negative 2, 0 and 0, 4. Right. And those are the 2 points I'm going to plot. So negative 2, 0 over here and 0, 4 over there. The x-intercept and the y-intercept. And now we're going to draw a line through both those points, and we then have, I'm just fetching a ruler actually, a perfect straight line, and that's what we do. That's the next step. You draw a line through both points, then you go ahead and you label the points. Okay, so this is the point 0, 4, okay, and this is the point negative 2, 0 over here. And then we also label the graph. Y equals 2x plus 4. Okay, and that's all there is to this. We don't need to do anything else on a graph like this. And in the test, most probably it will be fill in. So we'll provide you with this Cartesian plane. You don't have to draw it. All right, people. So if you have any more questions, otherwise, just practice, practice, practice.